Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, black, Hispanic, and Native American so-called, the descendants of slaves in Babylon the Great America. And we're gonna deal with these prophecies in the Holy Scriptures. I'm gonna start off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rikakadash. Yahweh been the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai been the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Salakia. I'm going to start off with this Jeremiah 28 and 8 and show this is what the prophets did since the days of old. Jeremiah recorded how the prophets was operated. In Jeremiah 28 and 8 it says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. That's why the thumbnail say the great kingdom. Start off with the great kingdom, Babylon, the great America, and then it tells you what's coming to Babylon, the great war. Okay, and Yahushua pretty much did the same thing when he talked with his disciples. And I'm gonna get what is it? Ephesians. Let's get Apostle Paul on this because he matched what Jeremiah said. This what the prophets, this what the followers of Yahushua will be against. Ephesians 6 and 12 it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We're not having a physical war. It says, but against principalities, talking about government. See, when you go into the definition of this principality in the scriptures, it's always going to be talking about a kingdom or a government, not some underworld of the demons. It says against powers. Powers is always going to be talking about government. It says against rulers and of the darkness of this world. So not some spiritual underworld. It's talking about of this world against spiritual wickedness in high places. What's those high places? And let me bring this up because this is what people don't understand. Oh, let me cut my internet off on this thing. It's sending me messages, messing up my flow. Okay, let's go to Isaiah 26, I think, because it explains the wickedness in these high places. You know what? It's Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24, starting with, get right to the point, verse 21. Says, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high. See, that's the wickedness in high places. It says, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. So this is what the punishment is all about. Look at Revelation 19. Revelation 19, and I'm gonna get I'm gonna get verse 17 to get the context. It's Revelation 19 and 17, and I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great day of the great Yahweh. or the great Most High. Verse 18 it says, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and all flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. Okay, because this is what's going to be happening in the wars. These are the focus. The kings of the earth is the focus. They the ones that's pushing the wickedness in high places. Okay, then let's get Revelation 6. Let me get into that because they gonna understand what's going on. But this also showing how the focus is these kings of the earth. It's Revelation 6 and starting with 15. It says, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, the mighty men, every bondman and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the dens and in the rocks of the mountain, and said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who is able to stand? So he's gonna have great wrath on these on these mighty men, these kings of the earth, these rich men, these chief captains, okay, these great men. He's gonna have wrath on them. Look at Revelation 18 and 23. Revelation 18 and 23 pinpoint who is doing all the wickedness. This it says, and I want to just get that last sentence of 23. It says, for your merchants were the great men of the earth. See, the merchants of the earth, people that's doing business. That's why he said, if you want to gain the whole world, see, what would you do to gain the whole world? Because these people that's doing business and selling merchandise, they trying to gain the whole world. That's how you gain the whole world. You deal with business. See, and these people that get into the business world, they the ones that become rich in this world. That's why he say, who you gonna serve? You can't serve two masters. You serve two masters, but you're gonna end up hating the other master because you can't serve two. You're gonna end up loving one and hating the other. And majority of the time, if you gonna start a business, it's gonna take your focus away from the Lord. And it's gonna take all your focus to keep that business going and prosper that business. Um, it says this Revelation 18 and 23. It says, "For your merchants were the great men of the earth, for by your sorceries were all nations deceived." And that sorceries, when you go into the Greek, it says pharmakia, and the pharmakia goes into this gas and this gas and drug industry, this petroleum. See, these people are getting filthy rich. Okay, when it comes to just the drugs alone, you got drug companies on all these corners. They call them pharmacies. The pharmacies is selling all kind of drugs to the people, especially in Babylon the Great, mainly. Because this Revelation 18 is talking about Babylon the Great. And the pharmaceutical company is getting filthy rich. That's why you go to Texas, Houston, Texas, in the middle of Houston, Texas, you got a neighborhood of rich, filthy rich people. And the majority of the time, these people are dealing in oil and they're dealing in pharmaceuticals. You see, this is who is the rich peoples of the earth, and especially Babylon the Great America. You see, and they giving poison to the people because Rockefeller came in on the scene and he made curing yourself naturally with the herbs and the plant. See, having a good diet. See, flushing out your system. with fruits and vegetables, with herbs, that's craziness. See, we got to deal with petroleum and start making these chemicals and drugs. Now we can get rich off that. We gonna focus on painkillers and drugging people up. See, on their deathbed, we just gonna drug them up, give them morphine, and let them go ahead and die. Rush the death process and let them go ahead and die. See, this is the wickedness of these people. They put money over people's lives, and then that food, drug, the FDA, Food, Drug, and Administration. See, they pretty much saying we're gonna make the drugs, we're gonna make turn the food into drugs because food supposed to help you get healthy. Food supposed to make you so it's supposed to supply your body with what it needs. But they say we're not gonna give it food, we gonna give it drugs. And then you got these GMOs. Let's go into this Babylon too, where they talk about these pharmaceuticals. But this is why he gonna destroy America, man. This is Ezekiel chapter 4. Now Ezekiel chapter 4 is going into America. And I hope I didn't mess the sound up. Just earplug. Good Lord. Okay, I'm going to Ezekiel chapter 4, and it's going to break down how in America the pharmaceutical companies, the FDA, is a criminal organization. What the Food and Drug Administration. This is Ezekiel chapter 4, starting with verse 13. Then I'm going to go back up and get the context. It says, and Yahweh said, even thus the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them. See, he drove us over here to Babylon the Great America on slave ship, and these people feeding us poison, trying to kill us off slowly with their Food and Drug Administration. Now, when you jump back up, let's see here, in from verse 4, he says, lie thou also upon your left side, and lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it. So the house of Israel, for their iniquity, they're going to be laying on their side, meaning they're going to be inside of a place. Okay. Now verse 3 talks about, okay, that's something different. Because the context is where he driven us, where he drove us, we're going to be eating defiled bread. So the place is where the land of our captivity, where he drove us. That's the place. They're going to be on their left side, according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon it, thou shalt bear thy iniquity. For this verse 5 of Ezekiel chapter 4, for I have laid upon you the years of your iniquity, according to the number of the days, 390 days, so shalt thou bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. And when you shall accomplish them, lie again on your right side, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed you each day for a year. So this is talking about the time length that we're going to be in captivity, eating the foul bread, okay? And mainly in Babylon the Great America is where the majority or a major place where you got all the tribes is at. And this is the head of the kingdom of these Edomites. See, that's the biblical name for the rulers of this America. mind you, we're gonna stay in Ezekiel and start to break down this Babylon, because this is where America, this is what America is in the scripture. So it talks about us being in the land of our captivity, laying on our side for a long period of time, eating the foul bread. Okay, so when you go to Ezekiel 17, it's gonna talk about it. It says in verse 2, son of man, put forth a riddle and speak a proverb unto the house of Israel, and say, thus says the Lord the Most High, a great eagle, see that's America, great eagle, a great eagle with great wings, long winged, full of feathers, which had diverse colors, came unto Lebanon and took the highest branch of the cedar. Talking about the Israelites. Verse 4, he cropped off the top of the young tweeds. That's these from 18, from 13 to 21, as some of these bill of sales that had these slaves on it. Say we was getting rid of these winches. They would call them bucks and winches. We was getting winches from these islands, and we was selling them to make this wine. That's Joel 3 and 3. But this goes on to say, this Ezekiel 17 and 4, he says, he cropped off the top of his young tweeds and carried it into a land of traffic. He set it in the city of merchandise. So this land of traffic, this city of merchandise, is this Babylon the Great, America, where it's a great eagle. Okay, so now let's get it out of Revelation, because in Revelation it already talked about the former kill. These great men in Babylon will be having this former kill, this getting rich off this former kill, this Food and Drug Administration. Let's see here, Revelation 18 and a land of merchandise. Okay, this Revelation 18 and 11. It says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Okay, because it's a city of merchants. See, this, the merchandise with America, what you got, the World Trade Center, and all of these other foreign nations got to deal with the what you call it, the Federal Reserve and the banking system that's running America. They come over here and get a American banking account so they can trade with that American dollar. Because since 1974, that petrodollar been the top dollar. Now, when you go into that was just Revelation 18 and 11, but when you jump down, I don't read all the merchandise that they selling in America. They selling all kind of stuff. But Revelation 18 and 13 is specific merchandise that they selling over here in America. It says oil. Now, oil is a major merchandise. It says chariots. See, chariots are major merchandise. These cars. You got cars blocking up the highway. Then it says slaves and souls of men. So this Babylon the Great will have slaves in it, and they will be pretty much using them for merchandise. This is what America is all about. I'm gonna jump down to verse 18. It says, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? So what city is like America? Well, you got these slaves that built the country. They used to build the country. I'm gonna say it that way. They used these slaves to build the country and to get rich off of their behind, because they was getting free labor, and through that free labor, a lot of these companies, they go. You can can look at, they'll ride by with a van or a truck, and it'll say, we've been in business since 1840 something. See, during slavery, them businesses was established, and they was getting filthy rich and passing this money down to their children. Okay, it says, let's get another feature that talks about, verse 4. Because he says, my people gonna be in this city. It's Revelation 18:4. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. See, my people is the Israelites. The Israelites is in this Babylon the Great. This my people is not talking about a Christian church or a Muslim mosque or just the children of Adam. No, it's talking about his people, the Israelites. And let's get that Matthew chapter 2 and see who this my people is. This Matthew 2:6, it says, and thou Bethlehem in the land of Judah are not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of you shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. That's who the Lord's people is, not just a random human on earth, man. And these are the people that was carried away captive into the land of merchandise, into the land of traffic. Human trafficking is the #1 of the biggest businesses in America. See, they deal in human trafficking. But let's get it out of Joel. This is Joel chapter 3. See who is these humans that they traffic. Joel chapter 3, I'm going to start with verse 2. It says, I will also gather all nations. When they say all nations, it's talking about all Gentiles. And will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. See, I'm going to plead with them because my people is in their Babylon the Great. My people is in their city of merchandise, their land of traffic. Okay? And then it says, who they have scattered among the nations. How did they do that? On a slave ship. And parted my land. So they parted the land with the Arabs and with the 1948ers. The 1948ers with the Arabs, they parted that land and chopped that land up. It says, verse 3, and they have cast lots for my people. See, what lots was they casting? You was on the auction block with Vaseline all over your body. Probably butt naked, man, standing on the auction block being sold to a red dragon. That's what was going on. It says, and have given a boy for an harlot. And a lot of these dragons are pedophiles, and they so bold with their pedophilia, they'll sit up there and say, we got a community of boy lovers. See, we in California, we got a whole community of boy lovers. You just don't understand us. But the little boys, they understand us, all this crap, man. This is what these Edomites do. It says, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. The wine industry, the rum industry, all was created by these Israelite slaves. See? And over there in California, where they was making all this wine, the Native Americans was speaking Paleo-Hebrew. They was the only known people that had a mono language, meaning they only using the letter A as a vowel. They're using one vowel for their language. And the Paleo-Hebrew was like that. That's why they didn't put the vowels in there, because it was only one that was being used. That's the ah sound, ma, ma, da, da. It says, I'm going to jump down to verse 6. It says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecian. We know who the Grecians were, because the Greeks was a massive empire. You had Alexander the Great, Antiochus. So you had a lot of evidence that was left behind. Even when you go into when they went into the Roman situation, you had the so-called Harronian dynasty, see, that was pushed and made to forced, I would say, to start following the laws, okay, and they got his statue, Herod, because he had a major palace that was built by thousands of Israelite slaves. He had a theater over there that was built, and he probably left a statue of himself in Jerusalem. So they know how he looked, and he wasn't no Arab either. It says uh, that ye might remove them far from their border. See, we got to get them away from this Jerusalem, and we gonna take them. Really, it wasn't, I would say, a major plan, but we know they ain't gonna be able to get back. Once they jump, we put them on this boat and take them to that land of traffic. See, we gonna be selling them all over the place. It says, verse 7, behold, I will raise them out of the place whether you have sold them. So this is the focus, the place that the Israelites were sold to. Because Christopher killing Columbus, Cristobal Colon, they try to say, oh, that's the Spanish way you say his name. Man, that's a lie. The man named Cristobal Colon. Because these names don't change. See, they come up with that pseudoscience to try to say, oh, the name changed with the language. That's a lie. It says, I will raise them out of the place where you have sold them, talking about America, and will return your recompense upon your own head. So by them human trafficking, selling Negroes on a ship, we gonna return this favor on your behind. It says, verse 8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off, for Yahweh have spoken it. So that's how it's going down. So that's going to be the result of this Babylon the Great. When this thing falls and this thing is destroyed, these people in these other countries, they going to be, because a lot of people leaving this place, man. And I can get that in Isaiah. It's Isaiah 13, and when you go into the AI and you put in Isaiah 13, it'll tell you that it's a spiritual situation. This is not talking about no literal ancient Babylon. I want to get to the and even in, and it's gonna say it in this spiritual Babylon in Isaiah 13 and in Jeremiah. I'm gonna let these people go by with this funky music. Okay, this Isaiah 13, starting with verse 1, it says the burden of Babylon. Not talking about ancient Babylon, but the present day Babylon, America. It says, lift up a banner upon the high mountain. And that mountain stands for a kingdom. And this is the highest kingdom in the world. Exalt your voice unto them. Shake the hand. That they may go into the gates of the noble. See, that's why when you go into social media, the number one attention is scoffers. See, they're scoffing on the Israelites. Why they not scoffing on Jehovah's wickedness and on the certified Baptist church and the Methodist and Church of God? Why they not focusing on their behind if they got the truth? No, they focusing on the Israelites because Yahweh was hated. They hate Yahweh say you gonna be hated just like I was hated. You're not greater than your master. Now I want to get to the how they gonna be running into these other countries. This Isaiah 13 and 14. It says, and it shall be as to chase row. See, a lot of these people running up out of America. We're moving out. We're moving out, honey. We're going to Europe. It says, as a sheep that no man taketh up, they shall every man turn to his own people and flee every one into his own land. Well, I heard our people from Ireland. We're going back to Ireland. I heard my grandfather from Germany. Let's go back to Germany. See, they gonna, a lot of these Edomites is fleeing, man. It says, verse 15, every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every